All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend and hope you're having a great morning. So good morning. Just want to do a quick mic check. Want to make sure everything is working accordingly. Make sure you guys can hear me okay. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. So as you know, there's been some storms over by Dallas and some Texas areas and some tornadoes. And that actually has affected Norm a bit. Him and his family are okay, but they have lost power, so he's not going to might not be joining us this morning, might join later in the room depending how things go, but him and his family are okay. So anyone in that area, hope you and your family are doing well also. So as usual, guys, if you're joining us for the first time, we usually go over our top plays and highlights, which Tuesday through Friday we go over our top watch list and kind of see how things traded. Then we look over on our gappers list, trade ideas, see what's going on in this area, and then we'll get into our Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers. We do at least a top 10 to see if there's anything moving in the area that could be interesting for the day. So let's get to it. First, let's start off with our gappers list. I don't have Norm with me today. He's usually our news guy. Peter might be filling in this morning. Good morning, Peter.
Whoop, I got to turn the mic on. Good
Yes,
morning,
you
Carlos.
do. Good morning. All right, for those on YouTube, Peter is one of our moderators as well. He's in the chat room almost every day. Peter, what's your time usually in the chat room that you're on?
Usually 1:30 to 2 o'clock. We now have Thor that joins me in the afternoon. So I'll start at 2 when he's done.
Excellent. Sweet, sweet. So, Peter, not sure how much news you have. Usually this is Norman's segment here in regards to the SPY. What can we expect for the week? Do you have any update on what we can look forward to today and this week?
Well, yeah, a couple of things. No big announcements today, so that's good. We are in earnings season, so we're going to see some of those on the gappers list. And I've got a few more that we'll see if they pop up in the gappers. If not, I'll throw them in when the time is right. Perfect. International markets this morning. When I just look at them very quickly, so far we can see that the SPY is gapping up just moderately, and that sort of matches what we've seen around the rest of the world. So we'll see what happens today.
Excellent. Sounds good, guys. All right, so let's get over to our gappers. Let's see what we have going on there. I see YNDX. This one has made some noise over the last couple of days, gapping up and down. So now we gapped up a few days ago. It's funny how this day, if you look at the daily chart here, every day after this huge gap down, you see a gap up and then sells down, gap up, sells down, gap up, sells down. And today we're gapping up, and who knows what's going to happen. I won't be surprised if we sell down. But again, this is a big gap up. This is a 10%, kind of the top of the range of this gap here, right? So the bottom of the range of this gap. So that could be interesting. But they've been pretty active for the last couple of days. So definitely keep an eye on this one. It has been great to trade. I remember Andrew, I believe, had a great short on this one on this day, and several of the members in the community did as well. So looking forward to this one. Up 9.9%, 618,000 shares traded so far. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this one. Next we have
Carlos, there was some news on it today. You're right, it has been bopping around. Over the weekend, there was some news out of Moscow where they actually changed some of the laws to increase the foreign ownership in Russian companies. So that is leading to the gains here. So we'll see what happens, whether that continues once the market's open.
Yeah, excellent. It'll be good to watch. Again, it's been trading very well in the intraday, so we'll look forward to that one. Here we have Roku, guys. Obviously, Roku has been on fire. Very good to have on the watch list. Has given us so many opportunities the last couple of days after they found this base down here around 98, 97. It's just getting kind of ABCD patterns after ABCD patterns here on the daily. And the intraday has been very well. That first 30 minutes at first has been very crazy, very wild. But it's been able to settle in and give you a beautiful trend train. And just when you think it's going to give you a double top in reverse, it just keeps going higher. So again, pretty interesting. Today we have a little pullback here. We're gapping down 2.3 this morning. So interesting on what Roku is going to do. Huge rejection on Friday, obviously, of this 140 level, 137 heading back down. So we'll see what this one wants to do. So again, some good volume this morning. This is one that's going to be active for the next couple of days as well. Again, we're still bouncing off the news of the Apple TV, right, Peter? Anything else besides that going on with Roku?
Yeah, I don't see anything new, so I assume that's what's still driving it.
All right, excellent. Here we have BA, guys, down 2.8 this morning, 308,000 shares traded. Had a very red day, yes, on Friday. Look at this massive drop here and today we're gapping down another 2.9. So I know a lot of stocks sold off on Friday. But this one seems to have something going on, guys, because this one's down, Peter, 2.8, and it was some good volume. Usually BA doesn't have this type of volume in the pre-market for an IC stock. So what's the news? What's the deal with these guys today?
BA released a statement that they're planning to actually release later. It sounds like a victim impact statement, and they've also, sort of responded to some criticism about some of the information they provided to the government, saying it should have been released earlier, which I assume that they believe would have exonerated them. But you can see that the stock is not reacting positively to that information. So we'll see what happens. Boeing always is unpredictable. No matter what the news is, Boeing can jump up or down $10 without, frankly, any relation to either where the direction of the market or the news out there. So be very careful if you're trading Boeing.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So again, we've got some activity going on here very early on this morning on BA. Worth taking a look at. It looks like it's about to put in a good pre-market activity too, guys. It's looking very well here in this chart. Again, usually another stock doesn't do very well in the pre-market, but today it's definitely got something going on. SNN here, it is down 8.4, 164,000 shares traded. Horrible daily chart. You can tell here a lot of gaps in between. Looks like a foreign stock. We're dropping down 8.4, which is quite a bit. But again, this looks like a nasty pre-market activity also, guys. If you look at it in here, 164,000 shares, and it looks like 142 is sitting on this one little candle here. So nothing interesting here, guys. I'm going to probably take this one off. It looks foreign. Peter, unless you have anything that's critical that we can watch this one, I don't see anything great in the technical side of it.
No, I don't really have anything. There was no huge news on it. There was their chief executive is stepping down, but other than that, yeah, it doesn't look great to me either.
All right, excellent. So we'll take this one out. Also, foreign stock out of the UK. Thank you, Rolo. So we'll take this one out. We have KMT. So KMT here down 15%. 116,000 shares traded already. Not of the greatest pre-market activity, guys. You can see this here doesn't look as clean as like a BA or Roku look, right? This is not as clean this morning, but 116,000 shares traded so far. Daily chart looks okay, not great, but it looks all right. You got a nice little drop here, kind of leaving this area, this base that we had before. But again, just the pre-market activity. I'm not seeing where the volume is, right? We do have 116,000 shares traded. I'm not seeing great volume this pre-market activity. Peter, what do we have on this one?
You know, this industry, so they are a machine tools company, and there's a couple of them on my list. They've slashed their outlook, saying that revenue is going to fall far short of expectations. So lowering that guidance is a sure way to have your stock drop pre-market.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely keep an eye on this one, guys. Again, nice big drop here. Pre-market activity not looking all that exciting like a BA. If you look at BA here, this looks very nice. Got a nice range to it. Roku as well is putting a beautiful pre-market activity, 135,000 shares traded. Hopefully that's going to keep climbing. And YNDX also has a very nice clean pre-market activity as well. So we got some good movers this morning early on. We have another one popping up here, AMD. Wow, our buddy AMD. What's going on here? So AMD is up 2%, 709. So this is the most volume we've seen out of AMD in a very long time. Usually when we popped into the stock, we're looking at 300,000, 200,000, which is for any regular stock. 200K is quite a bit pre-market, but not for AMD. AMD needs something like this, 714,000 shares traded. That's the type of volume that tells me something's going on with AMD today. Now on the technical side, we do see a nice pop here. We kind of have a retest of this 31 level and then a pop on the daily. So this looks interesting here. And again, we know we've been battling this 32 level and this 31 level for a very long time when it was in this choppy area. Then we kind of lost it, fell apart here, bouncing off this moving average somewhat. And now we're back at this area of resistance with some strength, looks like here in the pre-market. What do we have in regards to news? Anything coming out on AMD that's making this ruckus?
Yeah, not a lot that I can see, unless you guys out there are seeing something else. I mean, there was an article about the largest Finnish pension fund that has invested heavily in AMD and NVIDIA, but it wasn't a recent investment. They're just saying they've made gains from it. And Morgan Stanley raised their price target to $32, but they didn't actually change their rating. So it wasn't really an upgrade. It was just a change of their target. Other than that, I don't see anything else. And usually that price target change shouldn't really be driving much of a price in the change in the stock price. But
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, here we got some good movements, good volume. So definitely we'll keep AMD on our list today. Then we have another one that came up here, BIMI. This one here is up. Oh, this is one of the low flows, I believe. Let me double check. This one of the ones was active last week. You have 3.7 million shares flow. So we're gonna throw this down here and over in our risky pile. For our low flow team, we have up 30% this morning, 150,000 shares traded. So this one is interesting because it had the already big day, right? This was the day where everybody piled in and made a nice move from, I guess, almost $1 over to 9. So that's great. Gapped up, sold off a bit, and kind of found the base here. So this could be interesting. And if it can get a good pre-market activity going here, maybe it can support some of these price levels that we have here towards the top and test this 9 and 10 and 11, 12 again. So again, definitely got some activity going on. Volume is just starting to come in. If it can hold here, it can be a good possible play on this low flow stock. Again, guys, 3.7 for those who are joining us for the first time. Anything under 20 million shares flow, we're going to advise you to be very, very cautious. Those stocks tend to drop quite a bit. And they can, again, they require a higher level of experience to trade those stocks. So again, just be aware that if you're brand new to trading and inexperienced, try to avoid anything under 20 million shares float. Stick to the mid and large flow stocks. This can trade a lot more smoother, and you're not going to get dropped on a 50 cents or $1 in a matter of literally seconds. So just be aware that always check the flow on any stock you're trading. All right, so this is what we have on our gappers list, guys. Let's hop over into our Nasdaq active, Nasdaq gainers. So let's start over here with BNGO. This one's also been another active one, but again, this daily chart looks very horrible here. You can see here, look at these wicks here. Pre-market activity is not looking all that great now. Even 1.5 million shares traded. I mean, this thing doesn't look clean at all. So again, be very cautious. I think this was also very low flow. Yeah, 4.8. So again, volume wise looks great, but again, just this pre-market activity is not looking all that great now. Now BIMI is building its pre-market activity. Hasn't done much yet, with a lot less volume, but this one here with all this volume, and this is what you're getting, that could be concerning. Just be very cautious on this one here if you're going to put that on your list today. AMD we have, guys. So this one's again building a beautiful pre-market activity. Love the way this is turning out. Looks like it wants to break. It broke the previous high from a few days ago, and then we have some other highs over here as well that we'll get to in our support and resistance segment, and we'll see how we can build some good levels for this one. But again, pre-market activity is looking amazing. TTNP, guys, not doing much. Penny stock, usually not anything we focus on. Look at this pre-market activity; it's just not really great. Not anything we can pick up from there. OPK we have traded in the past. It has been a former runner. I don't recall the float on this one. Yeah, 362. Yeah, so it's not a low flow, guys. This is a large flow stock, actually, mid flow stock here, 362 million shares. Today looks pretty active, 671,000 shares, not creating the best pre-market activity. And the reason for that is because you have this one big pop here, and then you just kind of get a little choppy in this area, right? You usually like to see a nice flow, kind of like if the market is actually open. That's the type of pre-market you want to see. That shows you good pre-market activity. Definitely check out class 2 if you're joining us for the first time on how we're looking for these stocks. But again, here, I'm not sure what to expect out of it. It is not a low flow. We'll throw it on here. We'll come back to see if it can create a better pre-market activity. Right now, it's not looking all that great. It has ran up before in the past when it gets some good volume. Looks like today might be that type of day where we already have 672 booked in the volume bar, so that's good. TVIX, guys, pretty much flat at the moment, slightly down, but not much going on there. ENDP, this was also active last week as well, and I remember this is also, I don't believe it's a low float neither. ENDP, yeah, it's 224 million shares float. Yeah, it's just a lower price here. Again, pre-market activity, guys, not looking all that great. It's got some volume, 518, 511. We can put it on here and just check what happens. How did it trade? Let's go back. Let's take a look at how this thing actually traded last week. Let's just look at Friday. So it did give you some range here, a little wild, but it did give you a nice little drop here, and then probably a reversal. Let's see what it did the day before that. So this would have been on the 16th. I'm sorry, 17. Yeah, so this actually traded pretty clean here. Doesn't move much, but this traded pretty clean here. Got a nice little trend trading here. Not trend, I'm sorry, a reversal, kind of engulfing back down above the VWAP. So could be a possible. Let's keep it on here, guys. Let's see what it does. Again, it's got some good volume today. Gapping down 5.6 after doing a nice run over the last couple of 3 days. So we'll see what we can get out of that. All right, heading on over here, Nasdaq ETF, guys, slightly up as the markets are up a little bit today. FOMX not doing much at the moment. Horrible pre-market activity, nothing great here. IMPX also not doing much. More of a penny stock, so not really anything we focus on. BIMI continues to get the volume, guys. So let's see if we can build a good, clean pre-market activity. Again, volumes are starting to come in around 8:30 or so on this candle here. Hopefully that continues and you can get we can build a nice flow here for us to watch. Again, this is a low flow stock, guys, so be very cautious on the number of shares and how you trade this stock. OPK, we have it on here just as a possible. Not looking all that great right now, but if it can get better, we can definitely take a look at it. PETS, nothing going on there. YNDX, we do have, again, pre-market activity is looking great. We have a nice flow here going on with some very decent volume, up 9.9, so this will be good. SGen, this one is gapping up 9.8, 81,000 shares traded so far. We traded this one before in the past around this area. So this is one that has traded very well. Definitely going to keep an eye on it. Pre-market activity is just starting to get going. It's got a nice pop here, 9.8. So we'll see. Peter, anything that's causing this pop? I'm not sure if you had a chance to run through this one yet on SGen.
I have not looked at that one, but let's do that real quick here and see if there's any news on it. Positive trial results, it looks like. So that's probably what's driving it, a breast cancer treatment.
Nice. What's the float on this one? SGen 108.
It's about 165.
Yeah. So this is good, guys. Definitely one to watch. Again, it has been active. We looked at it before when it had done this move over here. So definitely worth watching today. See what we can get out of that. All right, over to YNDX. We do have already SPEX popped up here, but nothing going on there. This one's not tradable. FSCT also not much going on. I do like the drop here. Could be putting in it for a continuation day, but again, don't really like the daily chart on this one either. Next we have IPWR. This one's not looking all that great with no volume neither. All right, Peter, what do you have? What do you like so far this morning on your end?
You know, I've got a ton of things that aren't on our list, mostly because their ATR is a little low, so below what we normally put on our gapper. So let me run through them quickly, and so you guys at least know they're out there. Halliburton had revenue, and they missed their revenue targets, so they announced their earnings. Earnings were okay, missed their revenue. It's a big stock. HAL is the symbol on that one. MDR announced about 1.7 billion in new financing. They're looking good to me as well. Pre-market, lower priced, but not a low float stock.
What was
so one of those were,
the ticker was
MDR.
MDR, gotcha.
Yeah. We've got FOMX. The thing is, none of these are actually low floats, but they're some of them are lower priced. But FOMX had FDA approval on a drug called Amzeeq, which I think is an acne treatment. So that you see gapping up huge. There's MFGP, which I don't know if you guys were here. Anybody was here Friday afternoon might be familiar with that one, just because it got halted on Friday based on news. A potential takeover by OpenText. I don't know what's going to happen today with that, but I'm just going to keep it on my secondary list. Volume is just below our target this morning, but it is gapping down. So I'm assuming that takeover by OpenText did not happen. So the market's not liking it. There's a foreign stock called Infosys, INFY. Normally don't look at foreign stocks. This one isn't actually. Its ATR is pretty low. I think it's like 23 cents. However, there's a report this morning that a whistleblower is saying that they've had unethical practices in announcing their revenue, and they've been overstating the books and cooking the books. So that could be one that just, I mean, look at the pre-market so far, right? It's just been going on a steady downtrend. So that one could very well continue. Last but not least is a whole armload of drug companies are down this morning, starting with Teva. So we're all familiar with TEVA.
Yes.
But there's TEVA, CAH, which is a Cardinal Health, Merck, MCK, and ABC. They're all together in a failed settlement deal at the federal level to try and resolve the opioid issues, the lawsuits that they've had. So they're going to court this morning. And if you look at TEVA, its ATR is below what we normally look at.
Right.
most of the others I think are as well. However, it is gapping down and on big volume, so that's one I'll just keep an eye on. Because if Teva doesn't move a lot, but when it does, it can actually be nice because it moves nice and steady.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
big list. I know, sorry, but that's what I got.
No, no, that's good. That's good. I mean, Teva, I remember used to trade so well before. Then once it came below $10, it's been just doesn't move as much. But again, with news like that, definitely worth giving a shot and watching what's going on there. I definitely like the news and information on IFI. I'm sorry, INFY. This one's gonna be looking good too. Again, pre-market activity is looking great also right now, down 50%, 922,000 shares traded. But again, the ATR is just a little bit lighter. That's why it's not showing into our screen over here. But again, a day like today with news like that, definitely worth having on our list. All right, guys, let's see what you guys have on your end. What do you guys like this morning? And J&J was beautiful Friday. Let's see what's going on there to this morning. J&J. Again, this thing just kept dropping and dropping on Friday. The action was definitely exciting to watch. Again, just several fake outs here. You can tell every time it try to push up, right back down, push up, right back down. I'm sure there's a lot of buyers getting caught in a possible reversal. And with the news this thing had, there was no reversing on Friday. It was just straight down. Again, any of these pullbacks are just probably people taking profits. People think it was going to reverse, and then boom, it gets slammed again. So for today, it could be good for a continuation. Again, it's got a little bit of volume this morning. I don't see anything too great right now, so I'll look for this one to hit our scanners. But what I do like is that you're at a level of some good support here, right? You can see the previous day close line has been an area where every time you get like a drop or something, this is kind of where it has lost some momentum and bounce back, right? Then below that, 126.72 is another area again if it sells off from here. So right now the range is good on this one. It's gone up as a 129.50 and right back down on the pre-market. So again, but nothing great right now compared to what we have on this list. So I'll keep it. This will be going for a secondary, guys. If it hits our scanners, could be able to keep an eye on this one. Let's look at Snap. Snap has been tough to trade. Snap has been very choppy, very tough to trade. Great volume. I mean, this stock puts in a lot of volume for some reason. Look at the days, usually over 29 million shares traded daily. But I'm just shocked how bad it trades, right? So it gets all this volume, but it doesn't trade clean at all, guys. So again, not looking at anything too exciting right now. It has 240,000 shares traded, but for Snap, it's almost nothing, right, compared to how it trades on a daily basis. So again, kind of stuck within this chop here. I know they received an upgrade a couple of days ago for a higher target, I think 18 or 17, but that didn't go over well Friday. As you can see here, nothing has changed. So not too excited about Snap here, guys. Let's see what else we have. Pins. Needs volume, analyst upgrade. Okay, that could be interesting if they have the upgrade. Did that happen today, that upgrade, David? So this one could be interesting to watch as well. It doesn't have great volume right now, but it is going to probably get over 100 pretty soon. And you do have 3.2 gapping up quite a bit. So could be interesting, guys. But again, I think we have way too many to watch. Definitely keep an eye on this one. So the upgrade was today. We can definitely watch in our scanners how that's going to react. Peloton was recent IPO. See what that Peloton here, what that's up to. So this one daily does look interesting. It looks like it's kind of putting in somewhat of a double bottom. My situation with this one is again, I don't have a lot of information, right? So you gotta be careful with these new IPOs. And you know, there's not a lot of history, not a lot of data for us to plan our levels and things like that. But looking at what we have, it does look like it might be trying to put in a continuation, a nice bounce here. Right now, it has actually some good volume, 93,000 shares traded. Has a nice, decent pre-market activity, not all the best, but decent pre-market activity is up 2.2. If it can get going above this high here, you definitely have some room to run here. So again, could be a good possible, guys, to keep this one on watch on Peloton there.
Peloton has had an amazing amount of social media sort of comments and stuff because there's a lot of people who feel this thing is massively overvalued. So, you know, don't let that influence the direction, you know, your view of the direction. However, you know, it can create volatility, right? If people are going to sort of act on that. So, you know, hey, we should take a stock and go where the technicals tell us. But I've seen a lot of activity because they're saying, my God, you know, the only way Peloton is worth its valuation if every person in North America buys a membership, and you know, it's one of these. It's an interesting debate. Anyways, I said we're not fundamentalists, but you know, it's good to know that people are thinking that way because then they may be jumping in and moving this thing around.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Let's take a look at Netflix, guys. So I'm not going to put that one on my list just for now, guys. Netflix was interesting, man. The last 2 days, I mean, this thing gapped up on some positive news and then just drops. It's continued dropping the following day. Beautiful continuation. I thought it was going to hold here, right? You got a support area here. I thought at least it would hold here. Didn't do that, just kept dropping even on Friday. So another one kind of like reminds me of J&J a little bit. Another one that could be putting in a good continuation. Does have the volume already, 83,000 shares traded so far. Pre-market activity is not all that great just because it doesn't have great volume. But again, this one also could be putting in a nice continuation depending how the markets are going to open. I think that's going to do a lot today. Also, how the SPY is going to react at the open. But this is one like J&J to keep an eye on, guys. Had a couple of really bad days already here. Again, this was Thursday and this was Friday. Just continuing the bloodbath over here all the way down to this level. You're sitting right at the last level of resistance, which is right here. Right, so it could bounce from there. Previous day closed above you, so it's already red for the day, about a little bit less than 1%. But you do have some levels you can reach on here. So again, I'm not gonna put this one on my list, but this is like a J&J, one that you could definitely add to your list. Let's take a look at Apple, guys. Apple again, just looking very strong the last couple of days, consolidating nicely. Has a great pre-market activity. Definitely worth watching. I think Apple could be giving us another breakout to try to test that all-time high. Sitting right here, right? Or did we test it already in this pre-market? Looks like we might have. It looks like we might have. So again, Apple's just been really strong, guys. Nice pop here. Made a new high here, then kind of consolidating sideways. So again, this could be a good one to watch as well if we can get a nice little break. I have some good volume already this morning, up 0.5%. Tesla, let's take a look at that. We'll do a few more and then we'll jump into support and resistance. So Tesla here, guys. This one is yeah, it looks okay. Not as clean as Apple though. I like Apple better with the volume that it has. It doesn't have as great volume right now, and it's kind of stuck within these moving averages and levels here. So not sure what you're gonna get out of it today. Has been a nice little run, guys. Dude, this thing has been come back nicely. There's almost not even one red candle besides this one here, and this whole entire pop all the way up to 265. So that's a big move. We could just be putting in a consolidation here, or we could be heading back down. So but again, this thing has been really strong. I think these are just taking a rest after doing such a strong move here. So but again, needs more volume, guys. We need to get something more out of Tesla, and they're reporting this week. Thanks, gosh. So whatever happens on that day will be good to watch. But today I'm not seeing anything too great as like I'm seeing in like an Apple, right? Apple's got the volume. It's got the nice daily chart for possible breakout here above this high of the day, 238. So I have the pre-market. ETFC. So ETFC put in a good day on Friday, popped up here. Didn't move much though, right? Didn't move much. So it looks like it's trying to close this gap. Actually, already closed the gap, right? It had this beautiful gap down with the zero commissions came out. It slowly came up and closed the gap. So I'm not sure what you're gonna get out of that. But again, right now the volume is too light, guys. Only 782 shares only. I'm so used to saying 1,000, right? But 782 only. So again, not a lot of volume today out of that one. All right, so pets we looked at, PETS. Yeah, this one we looked at, guys. Doesn't look great. Again, no volume, only 4,500 units shares traded so far, so nothing great there. CGC, this one, these they have been on the move lately, bouncing back with some positive news and things like that. But I'm not seeing anything great right now in the pre-market for CGC. Let's look at Chrono, see what that one is up to. Yeah, not much. This was the one that on Thursday, guys, remember this? It was popped up and it just sold off massively. Following day got up a bit and sold off again. But on Thursday it was amazing to watch. I mean, this thing just kept selling off nicely. So I'm not seeing much out of that neither. And BA, yeah, we have BA on our list, guys. BA has beautiful pre-market activities on there for sure. We're definitely going to find some support and resistance on BA today for sure. All right, guys, so I think that's all we have as far as gappers. Peter, so used to say Norm. Do you have
Norm Mark 2.0?
Yes. Do you have any general announcements for this week?
Yeah, one last one I'll mention just because when you mentioned the pot stocks on that list, I realized I had Gill. If you guys remember, Gildan Activewear, it had that huge, it gapped down and then moved up during the day. That might be one to watch today. The volume so far is terrible, so I don't know if we'll see anything. It is a NYSE stocks, which means that often you get a bad pre-market. But if there's, you sort of want to watch for a continuation, that might be one that could do something today, just a little bit of a bounce back. But we'll see.
Yeah, no.
All right. So on announcement. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so on announcements, first, I want to thank everybody that made it to Missouri over the weekend at our St. Louis meetup. So I think Kurt was sort of hosting that one. William made it out. So we had a couple of mods there. We had lots of team members. If you look up in our alerts up above, we've got some pictures from the event. So it was great to see everybody who showed up and were able to talk trading with us over the weekend. That was fantastic. And we actually have some more coming up. So coming up, we've got a meetup in San Diego on the 26th of October. So that's actually later this week. And then in November, we've got Florida, Clearwater Beach, Florida. So we've got links up above for our members to check that out and let us know if you're able to join. You do not have to register in advance, but we love to know the numbers, so we make sure we book a big enough space. So that'll be great if you can sign up for those. The voting is now closed, I think, on the Benzinga Awards. We've been voting. Let me just try and vote here this morning. I'm not sure if it's still open. I thought it closed on Sunday, but try the link. If you're able to vote for us, we would appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, it was open this morning. Some of our guys are saying it's open. So if you're able to vote for us, we greatly appreciate it. That's important to us. We just appreciate being nominated. But if we could win that category, that would be fantastic for us and for the community. We have coming up, let's start with what we have coming up tonight. We've got Class 1, so we're restarting the classes, and anybody that wants to sort of go back to basics, it's always worth doing again. Or if you're new to the room, welcome, and consider joining Class 1. We do have them all recorded in the Education Center, but it's good to go live because we always change them up with sort of references to more current information, and you can actively ask questions, which we will address. Well, it's a royal we, of course, but those who are leading the class will be able to address. Carlos, are you still leading that one today?
Yes, I am.
There you go. So Carlos will be our fearless leader for Class 1 tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern or market time in the classroom. And last announcement I have for this morning is just a Lifetime webinar coming up. So all of our Lifetime members, you can join us on the 24th at 8 o'clock Eastern market time. That'll be an opportunity to directly ask your questions of some of our mods and get some, sort of more casual but one-on-one type of conversations. Please go to the thread in our forum. The link is up above so that you can post your questions in advance. It allows us to prepare a little bit and understand what information people are looking for. So that's it for the key announcements, but there is one last thing I will just mention, especially for everybody on YouTube. If you wanted to consider joining us, you like what you're hearing, or you want to see what it's like to trade live with us, we do live announcements. Even I, on Friday, benefited greatly. One of our members made an announcement for a stock, Microsoft. It's my best trade of the day. So it's not only us providing the announcements, but it's us as a community helping each other, and that's a fantastic. So if you want to consider joining us, please go to our website, or there's a link that we've posted with a user code of premarket24, which gives you a discount to $24 instead of our regular $39 for a 1-week trial. See if you like it. If you do, then we'd love to have you here as part of our community. All right, Carlos, let's get some levels on our charts.
Yep, absolutely. Just want to check a few more. So IPHS, guys, so this one was noted out in the chat room. But this one here, I don't see a great pre-market activity. Actually, looks somewhat looks like a buyout right now. It looks pretty flat. I'm not saying it is. Doesn't have the type of buyout volume. But again, pretty choppy, pretty flat right now at the moment. I don't see anything great coming out of that. But again, that could change if it's not a buyout. We'll have to see how that develops. So, all right, guys, we have quite a bit on here. It is a buyout. All right, thank you, guys. YNDX. Let's start out here with YNDX. So this one has a great pre-market activity, guys. 881,000 shares traded so far. Gapping up after gapping down here. So I love the way this is trading at the moment. Definitely going to watch this one. Let's look at the bottom here as a possible resistance. We have 38.78, which is very close to our high of our pre-market. High of the pre-market sitting at 33.59. So we'll mark both of those just to have those there. And towards the bottom, the price action is sitting right at the top of the gap, right? So we had this gap here based on some news that came out. So I'm going to mark down this area right here, which is pretty close with price action. It's at 32.61. Let's see how the price acts around that area. Right now in the pre-market, you can kind of see somewhat it respecting that area. right? So I see we continue to bounce here. It's kind of respecting a little lower down to 32.50, but I'm going to mark this one here. This one could be the area where it wants to find some support or resistance depending on how the price action is going to move in the next couple of minutes. Towards the bottom, I do like this area up here. Again, this one's a little funky, this the way this thing traded, right? Gap down, gapped up, gap down. I'm sorry, gap down, right? Sold down, gapped up, sold down, gapped up, sold down. So we've been seeing that at least for the last 4 days here, right? And even on this day here. So today we're actually gapping up quite a bit. So this makes it a little more interesting that we kind of left this routine a little bit. So hopefully this news can make it trade very nice. So next level it has here is 31.52. Then below that, we do have the low of the pre-market pretty close to 31.52. I'm going to mark it down anyways, just in case. Then below that, you have plenty of levels, the highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. These two right over here are going to be marked by your charts already, and the previous day close. So then towards the top, guys, if we can get above this 33.59 and 33.70, the next clean level we have will be this one right up here around 34.64, right? So you have an area of support right on. That's the closest thing. The next best one will be this one, 35.40. We'll mark that down in case we want to close the original gap here from a couple of days ago. Again, I don't think we'll head that far out without making some pit stops along the way. But again, that's a possibility. We'll keep those levels on there just in case. Next, we have Roku, guys. Roku has been so fun to trade, so fun to watch. Our highs and lows of the last 2 trading days are right over here, so that's good. We're kind of bouncing back a bit here after doing a nice little run. Again, we went all the way to 98, I believe, all the way up to 140. That's a huge run, so you can expect some pullbacks here. Let's see what we have as far as levels. So right now, the highs and lows around our price action. Below that, we do have a nice moving average here at 122.40. I'm going to mark that down. Below that, the next level we have is, it will be on this day here, 117.69. The reason I like this one, guys, you got the resistance here on the way up. Once it broke out of that, we came back down to test that 117.69. Then we did the pop. So you can expect that on the way back down, we can have some support around that 117.69. Towards the top, guys, I'm going to mark down between the highs and lows, right? Would you have your highs over here from the last 2 trading days, your lows over here, plus your previous day close, which is very close to actually on the same price of your high of your pre-market. I'm going to mark down this level here. This is a good midpoint to have, this 134.19, right? You can see that here, the resistance, and then above that you have your highs from the last 2 trading days. So that 134.19 also coincides with this level right over here, right? 134.19. This is most likely the reason why this thing stopped at the 134.19 before breaking out. So again, Roku is going to be fun to watch, guys. Got some good volume already, 179, up 1 point. I'm sorry, down 1.9 with a good pre-market activity. We'll see what we can get out of that one today. BA, on the other hand, this one is moving very nice, guys. Low of the pre-market sitting at 333.79 to be exact. Again, we kind of been holding that for the last couple of minutes. It's kind of can break down from that. But if we do lose that level, very clean level all the way down here, obviously 319. I don't think we're going to get down there, but you can see that support and then bounce from there. In between here on this daily, let's just zoom in a little bit more. You can see several days on here. You have this one here at 329.22, and you have this one down here at 324.90. So several levels towards the bottom. Now towards the top, guys, you have your previous day close, which is close to your high of the pre-market. But I am going to look for some levels in between here because that's a big jump. I don't think you're going to get from where the price action is now all the way up there without making a few pit stops. So 339.70, I think this is a good area. Why? Because you have the support here, resistance, resistance, and support and resistance again. So again, that level there is probably going to be tested on the way back up. There could be a loss of momentum in that area before it gets to that 344 if it decides to bounce. You can also see in the pre-market already how we're kind of respecting that 340, guys. At 340 line right there, you can see the pre-market respecting that area already. So BA is interesting, good volume, nice little drop here. So let's see what it does again after coming off a really bad day on Friday. So that's a big drop. So we'll see what we can get out of that today. KMT is actually bouncing back, not the greatest volume, right? 187, 186, but again, the pre-market activities are looking okay, a little flat. The candles don't look great, but has a nice range. It is popping up here. So let's do some levels for this. We're reaching a level of support right at 27.77, which is actually the high of the pre-market, but you can see where that support has been on this daily chart several days on there. Low of the pre-market sitting at 22.92, so we'll mark that down, 22.92. And if we go back, okay, so at least that's the 52-week low. Let's look at the weekly chart. Is this all-time low? Oh, hold on. No, it's not. So just on the weekly, I want to get something below this 22.92. We do have an area down here at 15. I don't think we'll get there. Another one down here. Keep in mind, this is a weekly chart. Another one down here at around 20.52. So those are enough for towards the bottom. Towards the top on this weekly chart, again, we haven't been down here in a very, very long time. So I'm using the weekly chart to find some levels. 26.16 can also be an area. You can see some areas of support and resistance off this weekly. So we got some levels towards the bottom here, and towards the top, guys. If we can break out of the support area, also resistance now on the high of the pre-market, we do have your highs and lows in this area here. So AMD, guys, AMD's got some good volume this morning, so hopefully can trade well. Towards the top, guys, pre-market high already sitting very close to the high from 2 days ago on Thursday, so I'm going to leave it on there. And here we have another high at 32, and above that, the next area of resistance will be 33.10. So again, I think 32, if we can break out of that, we have some room to run. Hopefully we can get a good pre-market activity out of AMD. I'm sorry, market open out of AMD. Towards the bottom, guys, you got plenty previous day close, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So I don't think you need to add any more. And really, I'm really long bias on this one, looking for the play to actually break out of this area of resistance. We've been stuck in here for the last couple of days. You can see this here, you know, kind of sold down, found some support of this moving average, and hopefully we can break out of this one. Will be the play to look for. OPK, guys, I'm gonna remove this one. I think we got so many trading so well. I want to look at Roku. I want to look at BA, Boeing, you know, YNDX. I think these are all going to be trading better this morning. So although this one has the volume, it looks like it's trying to put in some nice pre-market activity. Just can't watch so many, so I'm going to look at the other ones that we have in play today. NP here, ENDP. Also not looking all that great pre-market wise, right? But again, it does have some really good volume. This could be explosive as well. Look at the pop here coming back up. So again, it could take off here and make newer highs. It looks like it wants to do that, and it's got some really good volume. So, you know, on the fence on this one, let's find some levels on the fence, because it does look very explosive, guys, like it wants to get going. So let's see what we can find here. So towards the top, guys, we do have a level right over here, 573. And another one right over here around 630. So we have 2 great levels towards the top here. We do have to get above the highs from the last 2 trading those right here, though, before we can get to those levels. Towards the bottom, we do have an area right here that was tested twice, 447, right in that 450 area here and here. So we'll see if we stay above that. This won't be an issue. Just keep going. But below that, you have 2 levels there. Your low from the last 2 trading days, and also this 447 you can add on there. But again, pre-market action looks like it wants to get going. Look at the volume coming in these 2 last 5-minute candles, almost 200,000 a pop. So we'll keep an eye on this one. SGen, guys, this one is very nice. Got some good positive news. I believe we might be at all-time high on this one. Yes, I think we are. We are definitely all-time high. Yep. Okay, excellent. So we got some really good news on this one today. Looks like it's going to break a new high of the pre-market here. I'm trying to mark one down, sitting at, yeah, we'll come back to it. We'll come back. It's going to keep breaking the high now. But if you look at the bottom, guys, there's nothing else down here besides this. This is it. You have no real levels up here. So you're really going to have to play the price action on this one. But this one's got some good pre-market activity, some good action. Again, it's backed up by some really good news as well. So we'll come back to this one. Let's see if we can create a wave in the pre-market. Right now, it's the first time it kind of breaks the high of the pre-market. Let's see if we can create a wave, and then we'll mark some levels. We'll come back to this one. INFY. This one's got some bad news this morning, possible whistleblower here. So 862 low of the pre-market. If we go back here, guys, let's get some levels between 1050 and where the low of the pre-market is right now. We have several days right on here at support, 1005. And then right in this area, okay, here we got some good levels we can use. So right in here, guys, price action is sitting right at 860.66. I'm going to mark that down. Above that, you'd have this beautiful level right over here as well, this 908. And then in here, it gets a little choppy in this area. Trying to find the best daily level within here. I don't see one. Let's see if we can get something clean here. So we have 1050, right? This is kind of the range. This is what happens when you have a gappy daily chart like this one, right? It looks like right here. Right here, you do have some areas. It's 963, right? So you do have the drop. You have some there, some resistance here, support, resistance, support. Yeah, so 963 will be the best one out of this daily chart. Again, not the cleanest area. But this is the one you want to mark down. So again, guys, this one's got some bad news today. It's got a good pre-market action. Look at the volume, 2.3 so far. That's tons of volume right now. down 15%, so definitely worth watching on the bad news we have going on. Teva I'm going to remove, guys. Again, I don't think it moves well. I know they got some news. Peter was mentioning this morning. They got some volume, 1.4, which is quite a bit. But again, it's just moved horrible. It doesn't move great. Apple, I'm going to keep on here, guys. I think that we're pretty close to all-time high of our pre-market sitting at 238.09, so we'll mark that down. And then we got playing levels towards the bottom, guys. Highs and lows are listed down here, plus some moving averages. But again, I think the play here is going to be towards the top. All right, guys, so we have quite a bit on here. Andrew's going to come on now. We're going to finalize our list. Thank you guys for joining us on YouTube. Definitely check in tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time, as we prepare every morning this week. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and see you guys soon.